Welcome back, Pythoneers. Now, now let's talk about lists in Python. We have kind of crossed them a bit in earlier videos, but I've left it out because I don't want to overwhelm you. I want us to focus on the basic data types, such as strings, integers, floats, and booleans. But now we are done with that. We've also gone through our loops. So now is the time for lists. And the reason for why we would want to use lists is because sometimes we might want to store multiple values together. Maybe say we have a contact information or addresses. Instead of creating a variable for each one, we can store them all in one single variable together. And this, so a list is simply a collection. You will hear that in different languages. There are other collection types than lists. We have tuples, we have sets, and we have dictionaries, and we will eventually introduce those. But let's begin first. If we take a look here, I want to clear this. So what can I do? Let's see in edit, I think there's we can select all cells, and then I can delete select the cells. So now we're back to starting over, and I'll click the code button, and I'm going to create a list. So say I have a collection of fruits. Then similar to how we declare other variables, we use a square bracket, however. So, for strings, we text, we had to put it in double quotation marks, and then we might have called, like, if it wasn't fruits, say it was a name, then I'd like captain. This is the contents of that text. So the quotation marks makes that clear. But for list, we use square brackets. And in here, say we want to store a list of fruits as strings that we will store them as numbers. So strings, apples, bananas, oranges, for example. Here we have three values. And we see each item is separated by a comma. So let's forget that. Sometimes you might miss that, and there will be an error if I ran this. So this is what we need to look for. We only need to separate them with it. We don't have to add a comma here at the end. And the reason why, as you can see, why they're useful, now we can have all of our items in one place. A list of fruit names or a list of phone numbers. And then we can finally use loops. We saw examples earlier how we use for loops to iterate through the letters in a string, because strings are also sequences. They're not a collection in that way. We don't classify it a collection, but we could even add it. So we have list is a collection. And then we close and we can move it up. We don't forget that. And if I run this, we have now created in the memory of this Jupyter notebook. So I can use it if I create now another code cell, and I can now write fruits, and we can, as I said, we don't need to use prints, and we see kind of output. As I told you, if I do print, it will look a little different, but almost similar. No difference here for us. And we see when we print a collection, which is possible, you might have thought we couldn't, but Python allows us to do that. And we will understand that more when we go into classes. But for now, you see, it will output, and we see immediately that is a list by the square brackets. But how can we continue to explore lists and have it more useful? Let's begin with the first thing. So we can add another code cell. We can remove, we can stop that. We don't need to do that. Let's iterate through one. Let's use a for loop. So for fruit in fruits, colon, so don't forget that. And here we will actually do print just to be clear about it. And then I can run it. And then we see. For each line, we get apples, bananas, oranges. So here we see how we can iterate through a list. And we can do things. Now let's add another code block. What more can we do with lists? We can add another fruit. So fruits, then we use a dot notation. We put a dot here, and then we see we have access to different functions, when we went through functions. But this belongs to the list, operations that are available to it. So here we could say append. I want to add a new fruit. And we also see by the name tells us that it will be appended. That means it will be added to the end. So it won't be inserted. And we have something called insert here. And we can see by the function signature, we can provide an index and whatever we are going to insert. But let's go to append and we'll perhaps come to that later. So I'll add, let's say, what else could I like? Watermelon. Watermelons are pretty good. And I've appended it. But imagine we run this now. You see, because it's stored in the memory, we see now watermelons. Which might be a bit confusing because we're appending it here. So perhaps it's better to move this up there. But this is confusing, right? So can we duplicate this? Would we have to? Oh, we can copy. Cool, and we can insert it by pressing Control V, which I assume also have paste somewhere here. Don't know about that. Let's move it up here. So this can become a bit confusing. But now, remember I told you we can restart the session, and here we can also run all. So we run from top to bottom. And let's see what happens. Okay, let's try this again. Restart session. There, oh, it did. It just took a bit longer. Right. We saw, I guess since I did that, I perhaps have to run all again. Perhaps. So even if I didn't restart, because it runs this again, it resets the variable fruits to these three. And then we output them. We say apples, bananas, oranges. And then we append watermelons. And then we do that again, and we see we have watermelons there. Now we can do the same here. We can remove something, and we can remove here. We see we have to pass a value. So I want to remove oranges. I'm tired of citrus fruits, and instead of writing a separate line, I'm just gonna do fruits, so we can see the output directly after. And we see oranges are no longer there. So an interesting part about lists, because Python is an interpretive language and dynamic, so it's a bit different from compiled languages like the C languages, is that we can, as I said, store a list of strings, list of integers, for numbers, for example, but we can also mix. So I could do this. Roots add append 5. And let's output it. We see now we have three strings and a number, so we can add different things to lists, which not recommended, but it's possible, and I thought you should know that. Yeah, what else can we cover with lists? Let's see. As you see, they're ordered. The order doesn't change. Oh, it's consistent. Another concept is the term of mutability. We can change them. For example, let's add another code cell. Say, I want... So first of all, let's talk about lists. Lists are what we call index-based. I think we have gone through it, but let's do a refresher. When we humans start counting, we generally start from 1. But in programming, collections, both strings, lists, and that, their index, the positions, are 0-based. So to access apples, I won't be using the position 1. It will be the position 0. So fruits, and then we do square bracket 0. This is how we can access a single value inside the list. And I output this. Wait a bit. Guess it's not as fast right now. Something happened. Interesting. There we go. We get out the value there. And for example, if I wanted watermelons, number 2. So 0, 1, 2, 3. And when we're talking about mutability, if you're coming from another language, you might confuse lists with arrays. But in other languages, arrays are they're technically immutable because we have to when we declare them, we have to set a size. So in other languages, you might write, For example, we're creating a new array of numbers, then we might have like a new int, and then we will have size like 5, and that size cannot change. But you saw we started out with a list that was a size of 3, and then we appended 1, and now it's a size of 4. Then we removed 1, it's back to size of 3. Then we appended it. The size can change, so it's mutable, changeable. Mutable means changeable. So we can add and remove items in a list anytime after it has been created, and we can change values. We can change, for example, I say I didn't like watermelon. I didn't like the number 5. It was wrong. So we know its index is 3. So here I'll put pears, for example. And then I want to output what we have in there, see if it's really changed. We see it worked. And we can have duplicates. There's no rule in list. We can have several. I could have added another, something similar, such as let's append apples again. We output it, and we see. And in the future, we'll see when we go through, for example, tuples, another collection type that is immutable. It cannot change after we create it, and we cannot have duplicates. And dictionaries are a collection that has a key and value. So it's similar to a phone book. We have a phone number, and then maybe we'll see, the person and his address and such. And those keys can not have duplicates either. But lists, we can have as many duplicates as we want. And now we have a simple introduction to lists, which will help for coming lectures. There are a lot more complexity to lists that I have shown here. For example, I just want to illustrate again. When we put the dot notation, we see all the functions that belong to what we can do with a list. We can clear all the items using the clear function. We can get the count. We can reverse. We can sort. We can do a lot of things. I could have inserted a new item in the beginning of the list or in any position. Maybe I want it in the middle. There's so many things we can do. And we will go through them when the need arrives. But we'll keep it simple now because we don't need to go deeper at this point. Until next time.